All right, so here's your first lesson. This is just a quick algebra review. So number one says solve for W, simplify your answer as much as possible. So I have 5W minus 6 equals 24. So we always save the variable portion for the last step, which means we want to cancel out that minus 6. So we use opposite operations. So we would add 6 to both sides. The minus 6 and the plus 6 cancel out. 5W equals 30. This is 5 times W. So to cancel out multiplication, we use the opposite operation of division. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Number 2 says solve for y, simplify your answer as much as possible, and here we have y divided by 5 plus 11 equals 17. Again, we want to save this variable piece for the very last step, which means we need to cancel out the plus 11, so we subtract 11 from both sides. The plus 11 minus 11 cancel out, leaving us with y divided by 5 equals 6. Y divided by 5, we need to cancel out that division, so multiplication cancels division. So on the left, the multiply by 5 and the divide by 5 cancel out, leaving us with just y. And on the right side, 6 times 5 is 30. For number 3, solve for, and I see a typo here, that should say x. Simplify your answer as much as possible. So 2x plus 3, all divided by 5, equals 7. Again, we leave this variable piece until the very, very end, which means we have to cancel out the addition of 3 and the division by 5 first. But I am not adding 3 here, I am adding 3 divided by 5. So I'm going to first cancel out my division using multiplication. And when you do that, you are left with exactly what is in the numerator. 7 times 5 is 35. And now you can solve this like one of our earlier examples. Again, leave that variable piece into the very end. So to cancel out plus 3, we would subtract 3 from both sides. 35 minus 3 is 32. 2 times x equals 32. So to get x alone, we cancel out that multiplication using division, and 32 divided by 2 is 16. Now we're going to solve for u and simplify our answer as much as possible, and this is our first occurrence of some parentheses. So when you see parentheses, that tells us that we need to distribute. And when we distribute, we are using multiplication. So 2 times 4u is 8u. 2 times 5 is 10, and we are subtracting 10 equals 70. And then we leave that variable piece for the very end. So we need to cancel out minus 10 by adding 10 to both sides, which leaves us with 8u equals 80. To cancel out this multiplication between 8 and u, we use division by 8, leaving us with u is equal to 10. Number 5 says solve for y, simplify your answer as much as possible. And on this one, I noticed that I have 2 terms on the right, both contain a y. So this is our first instance of combining like terms. Remember that if you see just a variable, you can assume that there is a 1 in it if there's no other number written. So we can simplify this first to, well, 3y plus 1 more y is 4y. So that 8 equals 4 times y. To cancel out that multiplication by 4, we would divide by 4. 2 is equal to y. On this one, be aware that your variable is on the right. So we want to make sure that we're dividing by the coefficient that is with the y. And now you are ready for your first assignment on Alex. So you're going to find your first assignment on Alex, reviewing algebra.